everyone. Well, happy Monday. I am in transit once again, headed back to Washington, D.C. It is not only week 2 of the government shutdown, it is week 2 of Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and the House Republicans refusing to reopen the House. This is now week 2 that they have canceled votes. They have refused to bring their members back to the House of Representatives, and week 2 that they have refused to engage in good faith negotiations to keep our government open, to protect our federal workers, to save American healthcare, and to make sure that we have a functioning federal government. But we're headed back because that's our job, and we show up for the American people. Now, I know a lot of people are feeling really frustrated and frightened and a rough weekend, especially with all the news of deployment of National Guard to American cities. Luckily, a judge put a temporary restraining order against the deployment of troops to Portland. Some terrible things happening. Obviously, we've seen the reporting out of Chicago. But I want to zoom out on the bigger picture here. You know, the deployment of American troops against American citizens in American cities, the misuse of the military, the consolidation of presidential power, the criminality and abuse of power, the use of national law enforcement and the Department of Justice weaponized against perceived political enemies, the just malfeasance happening and the cruelty and the attempts to try to take our society and our culture and our rights backwards. We've seen this all before. And if you are a student of history, you know it didn't end well for the last president that did this. Richard Nixon. That's right. Because there is so much about this current administration that echoes the darkness of the Nixon administration, from the abuse of power to the deployment of troops to the just malfeasance and everyday corruption. And we're not going to stand for it. You know, the Speaker of the House and the White House are threatening that if we duly represented representatives, duly elected representatives of the United States do not bend to their will, that they are basically going to take hostages and start mass firing federal workers, which they don't have the authority to do. This is not normal. This is abusive behavior. It's abuse of power. It's abuse of the American people, and we are not going to stand for it. And I'll just say this, that history tells us that when we stand up, when we speak up, and when we rise up, and we exercise our voices and our democratic rights, and we push back, we will prevail. So, that's your pep talk on a Monday morning. I'm getting on this plane, headed back to DC. We'll see what happens when we get there. But we're not going to bend to the corruption and the lies and the efforts to try to scare the American people and take away your rights. And that falls on all of us to do our part. So I'm going to do my part and head back to DC. So I hope you all have a good Monday. You find your strength, you find your hope, and you find a little bit of joy today. Love you all. Bye.